to acknowledge and celebrate for yourself that acknowledgement, depending on who the society that you're surrounded by. That is a very necessary process to go through so that dialogue, communication, and respect and education can flourish. So yes, and I did have a coming out process, and I always will have a coming out throughout the rest of my life. But it has become such a normal within my own life that I'm able to link it to me coming out as a Eagle Scout. I'm able to link it to the seemingly mundane. But I think coming out, yes, externally is a process and should be very respected depending on the society in which you're surrounded by and the communities you're surrounded by. But I think coming out to yourself, that need for peace within your own self internally about your own multifacetedness and humanity is the most important. And today is International Coming Out Day. And I see it as a twofold, external and internal. And really coming out for that internal coming out is what I see as the most important. Coming out to achieve peace.
That's a great statement. To achieve peace through your coming out. It makes me think back to something you said at the beginning of the interview, when you were talking about that process for you and just going and crying. What would suggestions be that you would have for parents specifically, or I guess anyone it could apply to create an environment that allows children or adults to be free to explore their sexuality, regardless of what the conclusion is they come to as to where they fall on any of these spectrums? Maybe it would even be advice you would have given to your parents and things you wish that they had done differently so that process would have been easier for you. I think this question for me also comes from the fact that not everybody makes it through that process. You hear a lot about kids who take their own life because they were in a conservative environment, maybe similar to what you alluded to you were brought up in, but they don't find the support that they need, and so they make a different decision.
To answer your last aspect first, there are huge amount of resources. We live in the 21st century online. Just Google it. You'll be able to find communities and information and dialogue and amazing forums that really are catered to all aspects of this process and these trying to wrap one's head around this understanding. Reflecting on my own life, I think one thing that really parents should understand about an LGBT person is the profound trust, and especially if parents know for themselves if they've raised their kid in a conservative society, the profound trust they need to have for their child, that their child didn't just say this that or come out to them as a whim conversation, but have really, really thought and prayed, if they are a spiritual person, about this decision to inform their parents, and have went for years with this struggle of understanding for themselves and being at peace with themselves to share this with their parents. Now, and then the parents taking that, trying as wholeheartedly as they can to find peace in that and to find respect in that individual characteristic within their son or daughter. And that respect comes in many forms. With that respect for their child's struggle and coming to peace for themselves comes the parent's role to understand where they want to be within their child's life. Because if a child comes out, so really the ball is then in the parent's court of how they're going to handle it. And if a individual comes out to their parents and the parents are accepting right off the bat, move forward normally. If the parents are not accepting whatsoever, but are with their child still and respect their child and want to be integrated in their child's life still, then it's the parent's job to hold that love and respect for their child above whatever they believe about the LGBTQ identity that their child has. If there's no possible way of reconciliation, then the parents are making the decision for themselves that they just lost a beautiful, beautiful aspect of their life, and that's the saddest thing. So I think it is a journey. It is about mutual respect, but the parent has so much power in their hands that maybe they don't even realize a lot of the times that child came out to them seeking some sort of solace and want to move forward even deeper in respect and communication and authenticity with their parent.
2 final questions that I want to ask. One is, if you had to summarize in just one sentence, what would you want to say to someone who is struggling right now with their coming out journey?
Pray. Coming out and really wholly identifying for yourself what is your own truth. Take yourself outside of yourself and pray and bring in spirituality. Spirituality can create such a physical space of peace. When I say pray, I mean meditate. Create for yourself a space of peace so that you can really hear yourself and the world around you and clear your mind so that you can move forward in understanding yourself better.
The final question is the same question we end each of the podcast episodes with. What would be 3 things that you wish we knew?
3 things. Stop getting so hung up on is it a sin or not. Rather, focus on how can we be with each other together as better people journeying through life on this planet. 2, always, and goes beyond SOGI, sexual orientation, gender identity. Always see the whole person and not just a facet and pigeonholing and stereotyping somebody into a box, but rather celebrate and see and celebrate the whole person. Then 3, if you yourself are an LGBTQ individual, seemingly surrounded by a conservative and very closed society, seek out the individuals who are out there to support you. Go find the forum, go online and give the Trevor Project a call, the It Get Better campaign. Communicate with somebody, because there's always out there somebody who will listen and who will be able to accompany you through this journey. Yeah, another one is the runaway hotline as well. They're all out there to guide somebody and be with somebody through what can be a very, very trying time.
Thank you, James, for all of those insights and for all of those resources. We'll put those in the show notes, so if someone wants to reference them, they're there. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a lot of fun. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
I hope that this has helped all of you to understand more about National Coming Out Day, about someone identifying as gay, the process that someone would have to go through when coming out, and hopefully it will help all of us to be more understanding of those that have a sexuality different from our own. As always, I want to thank you very much for tuning in. Be sure to tune in next week. We will be interviewing Keith, who is a member of the Latter-day Saints Church or the Mormon Church. You may have heard it called either of those. If you have questions for Keith, we actually have not done that interview yet. So if you get those in by 5 p.m. Mountain Time on Wednesday, October 11th, chances are I will be able to actually ask Keith your questions. So any questions you have for somebody who is a member of the Latter-day Saints Church, send them on over. How do you get those to me? You can do it through the website, wishyouKnewpodcast.com. You can send me an email at wishyouKnewpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Twitter, you can find us on YouTube. Any of those means will get your questions to me. But be sure to get them in by 5 p.m. today, Wednesday, October 11th. I hope you all have a very good week. And until next time, remember, people are people are people. Keep listening.